Hello everyone, this is Jay High from Couch and Keyboard, and here I am again with another kind of tourney recap, and I'm going to go through everything that happened in GOML. I'm going to mainly be focusing on Melee, but I got some other stuff too. Rivals, Ultimate, got all the pre-locals and doubles, all that kind of stuff. Speaking of pre-locals, a modest 50-man tournament here, man and women, because we got the French sisters both made top 12 here, with Feck beating Skullbro, I4 being seeded pretty high. I mean, like, I would say like the top, like maybe like 12 seeds are somewhat notable players. Wasn't too crazy, but it's still, high quality Melee that I think is pretty interesting. Sisters had to play each other. Zaza beating Fred Melee, J2 over None, and also taking a set off of Aklo. Pretty good stuff there. J-Cam beating Frog Chip, a little bit of international stuff right there. And yeah, I mean, nothing too crazy, but I like factoring in pre-locals. I think it's cool. If you don't want them to count, don't enter it, in my opinion. But I know some people, they say they shouldn't count. It's like, I feel like, especially if you travel, like even if it doesn't count, if you get it to show up on a bracket and say, hey, I beat this person, that's cool. And you can take pride in that. So, but yeah, and then we moved on to doubles where we had some early losses. OG Kid and HBox lost pretty early. They lost. They lost their second set against Sika, who familiar Marth later in singles that we'll see. But yeah, so this is like gonna be a pretty easy with negative and Ossify. You would think that it'd be easy, but Moosin being, I guess it's like, there's a lot of people that will kind of, like Inky teaming with some random guy named Nick. Like, you have these top players teaming with other, like, lesser known people. Like, it's hard to have two equally yoked teammates, Axe did not have a great GOML. Super Ginger, I was familiar with. I know that, I don't know if it's in BBA, but at least familiar with Rat Monster. But beating Mop Money and Zuppy in this set, that's pretty alarming, because these are both good double teams, like doubles players. And Rishi Laud, I thought that they would not lose here. I thought they would probably lose here just because they're more so singles players. And yeah, it didn't go so hot. Aklo being able to bounce back. And yeah, so also Morse taking Samus tonight. I think I saw Morse not going Samus in one of the games. It's like, I imagine Samus is kind of hard to navigate in doubles. But OGK HBox running it all the way to 4th place. And then we had the French sisters running it back after losing 3-0 in winners finals. And they beat this really solid team, Mop Money and Zuppy, probably Double Fox. And then I watched some of this Grands. It was really interesting. Sheik Peach, turns out it's a good team. And yeah, it was pretty interesting. I think that having static like doubles players, like Rat Monster loves doubles. I think teamed with Dragonov the other week. Was it like Garden Brawl or maybe it was Melee at the Elm? Some Northeast tournament, and I think it's cool. You team with other people. You don't got to team with other top player, shake hands, and even if you do, that's cool. But yeah, I like kind of keeping up with that. Then we had some pretty unique circumstances with Melee pools. We had a little bit over 500 entrants, and pretty close here. Salt DQing opened it up for Seabass after beating Blesse. Making it a top 64, and didn't stop there. In this, we had a pretty alarming upset. I feel like J-Cam probably should be seeded above I4. But either way, doesn't go Sheik in the Ditto, goes Fox against Sheik, which I guess makes sense. And then 3-0's Axe. And then Lunar Dusk, 3-0's Dark Gen X, who beat Slug in the Ditto like last year. So this is pretty wild. Dark Dennis also beating I4, which I think Feck is the Peach, right? So I guess if this was the other sister, who knows how that would have gone. But Axe, I imagine probably a Pikachu Ditto. Zach's been doing pretty good recently. But Axe able to clutch out top 64. But yeah, I mean, JCam has been good, one of the best. I think, was it Panama? GooseCon, a very good Falcon main. I think was like top 70 at one point. Really close with Ossify, and Ossify has some, like, I think people consider Falcon Marth to be like realistically Falcon favored. But, like, Ossify's done pretty good against some Falcons. And then FM versus Spark. Spark has some Puff experience, and then we also have Saucy Main beating FM. That's pretty alarming. I did not expect that. I think Saucy Main kind of was not perceived to do very well. Kind of, you know, like not in that upper echelon, but beating a Puff here. That's good stuff. That's one of the tougher matchups. And yeah, and then we had Rap M doing solidly. Kuro over KJH. That is one of the biggest upsets of the event, and I feel like no one knew about it. KJH DQ'd right after. It happens. Joey Bass getting a pretty good run. Skullbro as well. To where you have, you know, and for whoever's fighting for loser's side, you only have one top tier. And then the next highest, I mean, I don't know if you, I guess you probably put Dokubo Ganon, but like, this is a pretty funny character lineup. And yeah. So on to Wave B, which these pools are larger. They don't have the round 2 pools. I think it's fine. You have less people making it out of pools, but I think if people realistically know, it's like, okay, like I still did fine, even if I didn't get that kind of, you know, stamp of approval. A lot of these sets right here were pretty close in. I mean, Juice Box, I was thinking was going to go through here, but didn't even get there. Lost to Zemi's Samus. But and was able to make it back after beating I guess Tranimal in the Sheik Ditto, I assume. And yeah, Moki looking good there. And then Mateo getting a win here, but losing down here to Puff. Law dropping a game, but still looking very solid. There were some crazy upsets at some point. This was a little bit more mellow. Prof, I think a Florida Sheik, you know, doing fine. Picante thought a pretty good Falcon. I keep thinking, I think Picante was a NC tournament. That's different. Here was one of the larger upsets, at least theoretically, or like numerically. Magi has struggled against Puffs. He usually gets that Yoshi's game, but is a little bit tough outside of that. And yeah, so that was unfortunate. I think the Morse code was probably going to beat Magi anyway, but Palpo denied that matchup from happening. And yeah, so a lot of Puffs around here with Tommy, a pretty good, I think Northeast Puff. But Morse code getting that. Mono pretty solidly beat Misfire. I saw this set. And Sika had a great job in the Marth Ditto here. Apparently Sika's one of Cody's students. I don't know how much Cody would actually give in the Marth Ditto. I feel like, but I don't know. I feel like maybe Marth Ditto isn't that bad. Speaking of Marth, beating Mono in this matchup that's considered to be not very good for Marth, like in actuality. So lots of Marths around here. You know, H-Box having to stay primed for that matchup. It's like you're looking at this, you're gonna play a Marth in round 2. That's kind of how it goes. But yeah, not too much in terms of top seeds here. I thought Regex was gonna win this, but Milkman doing very good there. And J-Mook staying alive at this moment. We had, this was a really close set. I know Amp has been doing pretty good recently. Lost early here, but beat Frog Chip. Unfortunate for Frog Chip, but you know, that's okay. Got a good experience here. And yeah, and so kept it going. We had a Wally DQ, so that kind of a little bit, but not too crazy. Green Statch, another Luigi making it out. Green Statch has been, you know, considered to be the better Luigi compared to Saucy Mane. We had Egg Money beating Michael, by the way, Forox over Mott Money. This was pretty surprising. I feel like people don't know much about Mott Money. Really good. Fox kind of outshined by some other Tri-State Foxes, but still very good. So this is a good win for Forex. You see Forex a lot in like online play, but you know, putting their money where their mouth was and got a good win. Even on Game 5 with OG Kid. And then my money beat Egg Money. I heard they did a money match a while ago. So kind of run back there. Zane doing good in the Yoshi matchup as well. And then Firebolt also has a Dial M win recently. I think at a smaller event, but still. Taking SCJ to Game 5. And then also beating Feck 3-0. So big ups there. Almost done with pools. Not a ton of crazy stuff. I mean, Faraday, a pretty solid Sheik, went pretty close with Real Thing. Slug dropping a game. Slug just doesn't seem quite as good as, you know, as previously what could have been. Cola getting a win on Drio. It's like, you know, I guess he got one good win. Yeah, sure, that's fine. Also, Drio running it back against Jude. Kind of unfortunate. I saw Jude's live stream of Top 64 because day 3 of the event, the internet, the power was out, and so they had to live stream, like kind of with phone cams. And you can see some of these matches being absolutely nuts. Zuppy over Jmook, None over Slug, Sunsei over Zane. I'm also finally getting that None win. Laud over H-Box. Even Seabass over Dawson is pretty alarming. Frostbite over Ginger. Like, so many of these winners matches were just, you know, really surprising. And losers was a bloodbath. We have Magi going on a solid run, beating one doc and losing to the other. Jmook getting down here very early thanks to Zuppy. We saw Zuppy at Collision have a very good run a few years ago. But this was big. Lunar Dusk beating Jmook. You know, Sheik, ICs goes that way sometime, and yeah, Kuro getting 49, still pretty good. Also, Forox beating Grab. People don't really realize this. Like Squid, kind of an older school player, but like this is a pretty big win here. Firebolts doing pretty good. Cola, crazy run. Dreffin, even if you got a Dreffin win, stop there. That'd be fantastic. Mar, J-Cam, Zuppy, who just beat Jmook, and then beat Slug, who just got second place at a major a few months ago. Nuts. Prof over Axe. Now, maybe Prof has some J2 experience, I'm not quite sure, but that was pretty crazy. And yeah, J2 beating Rishi in this matchup. Morse had it tough, losing to H-Box, and then against Spark. I don't know if Spark has, like, maybe, probably not Daryl experience. I don't think Spark was in NorCal when Daryl was playing much. But Zaza also beating OG Kid. But yeah, this was a pretty nutty part of the bracket here. To where Lunar Dusk, who in most people's minds thought was, you know, just retired and kind of written off, able to get 9th here, even taking a game. That's pretty solid. In terms of seeding, you had 8, 5, 7, and 3. And then this was 2, 11, 1, and 20. So most of the people were kind of in the realm of being up there. You know, SCJ losing to Aklo. I guess technically an upset, but they traded Seth because SCJ has spent some time in New York. But yeah, Swift not having a great bracket here, just having to run in Slug. Even going Fox here. I guess Swift is more known for Fox than J2 is, but the ICs had a pretty good path a lot of the time. We saw a lot of ICs, and Dark Gen X didn't do that great. Ginger also almost got double elimed by ICs here, but able to bounce back here, lost to Epoodles Marth. And yeah, top 8 was pretty wild too. I mean, they had some fantastic sets. Rat Monster ultimately getting the run back on Zane, having another win on Sunsei. Zane beating H-Box. So a lot of these being more predictable. But I mean, Grants was just fantastic. This was amazing to watch. The schedule was a little bit off just because things got delayed. So they went pretty late. We had Ultimate and Melee at the same time. I think it was fine. Some people really liked being able to watch both. Like it seems like the crowd really loved it. I don't think the stage is necessarily meant for both to be happening at the same time, but it is what it is. For Ultimate, we had a pretty stacked pre-local. I mean, it seems like for Ultimate, they just really have a lot more like kind of built-in, like people know what to expect from pre-locals. I think they're like, pretty often, and people are familiar with them. And Moo, excuse me. A pretty good run here, beating Zozef, getting all the way to third place. Anarchy, running it back against Burst, which I think that Greninja Yoshi's a little bit weird. I used to switch off of Yoshi against Greninja, but Anarchy doing very good there. And then for doubles, MK Leo, Spargo, I feel like we don't see them team very much. Lucky Tweak went out kind of early. We didn't see a ton of like crazy teams. You don't see a ton of like you see some of the nonsense like Game & Watch Me Brawler teams. You don't see a ton of like Japan, like people like actually being good at teams. Also the New England guys getting second place, good stuff there. This kind of was just it was just kind of there. But I think it's cool. These guys have had a rivalry a lot, so them being able to work together is cool. We had some DQs, Wrath, Jazzo, Crepe Soleil, but also some crazy upsets here. Zozef over Syrup, that's pretty wild. Jackal over Spargo, that is pretty crazy. Jackal's had those good, I think, what was it, Crown? Jackal's had good runs before, but like this, I mean, and this set was just so close. Heartbreaker, but good stuff from Jackal to even make it that far. Diddy Ditto went in KNB's favor. I was watching this on the side. I was watching some Melee. And I was like, oh, Tweak got this. And then suddenly he didn't got this. So that's how it goes. We had some Duck Hunt representation with both Cake and Zog, making it pretty far. My guy Pharaoh, unfortunately, bowing out a little early. That's okay, though. Cola had an early loss here. I mean, it was like really early. It was pretty alarming. Like Cola made it much farther in Melee than Ultimate. People made it about, like, oh, he's better in Melee because it's easier. Whatever, dude. I don't freaking care. Both games are cool. And people were like, yeah, you're right. You should play Melee. And it's like, yeah. I don't know if that's going to happen. Riddles got first in Street Fighter. Hard to win both games. Tough matchup here for Tweak. I mean, both tri-state players played a fair amount. Unfortunate having to run into each other so early. Win Syrup's way, that's not too surprising. Some Bayos were out. Oh, hard. But my guy Beast Midpaul unfortunately didn't get there. Rap, someone who actually went to one of my events pretty recently, a few months ago. Won an invitational I did for MDVA and got 9th place. Pretty good. Also taking games. That's all. A lot of hate on Rap. I think he's a smart guy. He's not just super duper carry. He was having some cool offstage play and making some reads. And it's like Rap has not really been on that big stage. Like has some good MDVA wins. Like top 3 right now. But it's like he got handed a good bracket and he took advantage of it. Like what's to be mad about? That's how it goes sometimes. And yeah, Lima had continued the crazy run, beating MK Leo, almost beating Hurt. This set was really close. Hurt finally beat Light after a few losses in a row. It seems like Leo just has Spargo's number. And Spargo able to beat Steve's. It's like, thumbs up, I can do that. Jackal also over KNB. I guess Jackal has some Tweak experience. But yeah, this is really good. Had some really exciting stuff. I was kind of more lasered in on Melee, but I would keep up with this stuff. And it's like, Leo over Light, I think, is a good sign. I think dude, Leo's going to get ranked really high this season. Resetting the bracket on her is incredible. Hers not been quite as good this season as other seasons, but like still been pretty good. So this is really going to help Leo. Really impressive to see. Snake can be annoying sometimes. I like Snake as a concept, but like it's like, bro, mounting a comeback in Snake is hard because there's so much going on. It's just so taxing. But yeah, rivals. We had some DQs here. The melee players, Mango and Salt lost early. Now this was alarming. These two are up and coming players. You know, like we had kind of the top seeds. Mango having it really good. Evo, Salt been getting up there, but you kind of have just a few good players. Bullets having a good run last year at GOML. But it's like, okay, yeah, K, Grand Gunshoe, Beastly, Sandstorm, they're probably going to get top 4, yada yada. Not quite. Nope. Did not happen. The 3-0. And yeah, FPZ didn't quite make it. I was expecting FPZ to make a run here. But we had some people I don't even know much about still able to do pretty good. Even K getting taken in Game 5. And yeah, Godly able to get up to 4th place, taking advantage, not just going 2 and out. Beastly, losing to Sandstorm and Run Gunshoe, pretty fine. But Beastly getting that cake win, pretty big. I know Beastly was kind of perceived to be underranked. Sometimes it's like less about the placings and more so who you beat. So, I think it should matter, like your path, but can't argue a cake win. And yeah, Rando also getting top 4. I know I'm a Rando hater sometimes. With I'm getting hit by so many Rando fairs. That move is busted, but you don't see Randos very often. And so even though the Sheik lame, whatever, like you gotta give props. And yeah, we had, let's see, we had Get Out of My Venue, the side events for HDR and P+. HDR, I don't follow that much. I know Frozen's very good, and sure enough, one barely dropping any games. We had some pretty interesting runs here. Rap-M getting top 8, Dial-M getting top 8. That's pretty interesting. This, I think, like, you inevitably have more kind of like ultimate focus. Also, Switch, FPZ, like, Dope. Like, you have some people trying it out. I know Stars is a pretty good Cloud, I think. But yeah, props to people for trying it out. And then, but I love PM a lot more than HDR. No offense. I think they're both cool. But Dial-M getting some good wins. Rat Monster, having a really solid run here. They had to delay so much because of Rat Monster and None both still being in bracket. Morse able to beat Dirt Boy in winners, but also beating None in winners. None Switch, the Heartbreakers. We're rooting for Switch, Wolf Goat, but also None beating Seabass in both Melee and PM. This was much closer. Seabass threw, man. He threw so hard. Like game 4 and 5. It's like, bro, what are you doing? But, that's fine. Able to beat Bliss 3-0. Like, that's going to be big. Like, that's a big deal. And Zaza also beating SDJ, which I know Puff is kind of nerfed. I don't know if SDJ goes Puff in this game, actually. But either way, that's a good win. And then Dirt Boy able to run it back, but Rat Monster is just a solid wall, man. It's crazy. And yeah, Brawl, I don't think it's going to be quite as stacked as it will be at Supernova. But, interesting. I'm aware of Misfire from Melee. I've heard of a couple of these players. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool to see people still, play old games. There's few enough Smash games to where it's like, okay, it's not, you have how many versions of this game that come out every 2 or 3 years. Like these are pretty rare. And so I give a lot of credit to people that play some of the old games. And yeah, I really enjoyed this GOML. I think it was fantastic. Sometimes you're at the mercy of the matches, but the matches were good. We also had, I mentioned earlier, we had Riddles winning Street Fighter, we had Splatoon, Guilty Gear, a lot of really cool stuff here. I really enjoyed keeping up with this. It was a lot. There was a lot of stuff happening between like different streamer events, esports World Cup. So it was hard to absorb it all, but this had my main attention for the weekend. I'm glad it did. This is one of 3 hype events. I don't know if CEO is going to be that stacked, but it's still something. Supernova is going to be incredible. I think that is a really cool. While I think it probably would have been better to spread them out a little bit, just because it's hard to travel that often back to back to back. As a viewer, where I'm like kind of taking some time off, I come back and it's go boom, boom, boom. Like, dude, this is so awesome, man. Melee is so fun to keep up with, so fun to watch, fun to play. It's hard for me to kind of stay in that, but you know, I play sometimes. But yeah, dude, GOML is great, and I'm really looking forward to more Melee, more Smash, all this kinds of stuff. It's awesome, man.